I tell you things before they happen because I talk to people that know things. One of the people that knows things is my wife. And when Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA, my wife said, you watch. You watch. Now, remember, my wife, longtime softball coach, a legend in the game of softball, understands women like nobody I have ever seen, particularly women in sports. She said, look, these women are going to be jealous. These women are going to be envious. Egos are going to get involved. There's going to be pettiness. Oh, wait. Michael Thompson, father of Clay, said the same thing on our show. Jeep, jealousy, envy, ego, that's EE, pettiness. Well, I'll be damned. And we all saw it finally come out. When Dawn Staley, who, by the way, Dawn Staley gives me gas. I mean, at one point in your life, at least look like a professional, not some, I don't know what the right word is, not some little kid. She dresses like a high school kid. She has no respect for nothing. She thinks she's something. Good for you. You win women's tournaments. Great. But she finally came out and admitted how stupid they all are. Now, let me explain this to you. Dawn Staley said that the United States Olympic Committee would have strongly considered picking Caitlin Clark if they had a do-over based on how she was playing this year. Just another lie. See, let's be honest. They were never going to pick Caitlin Clark because they are jealous. They are envious. Their egos were too big, and they are petty. Jeep. Boy, is that good. They were never going to pick her because the angry old lesbian crowd of the WNBA did not like straight white girl coming in. It was seen on the court with the shove by that Kennedy Carter. It was said to her many times. The word white biatch was said to her so many times that the Fever had to get with the league and say, what are we doing? Are we supporting racism? Is that what we do? And the league had to shut it down. Then all of a sudden, oh, wait. The uproar. Nobody's at press conferences for the women's basketball team over in Paris. Nobody shows at their stuff. I guess they play today and nobody cares. Oh, wait a second. You mean they would have if Caitlin Clark was there? Duh. When last seen, Caitlin Clark was hanging out in Mexico. I talked to the general manager of the Fever, Lynn Dunn, the other day, and she's like, good for Caitlin Clark. She'll be on enough Olympic teams. We would have loved for her to have been on. But, hey, that's the way it goes. Now, Lynn Dunn stopped short of saying Jeep, but let's all be honest. All of a sudden, it's based on how she's playing now. Wait a second. I was told she didn't go to Olympic camps. I was told she didn't go through the Olympic process. Now it's, well, had she been playing well? Dawn Staley full of shit. I mean, let's just be honest. She's full of shit. She looks like an idiot when she shows up for interviews. She does. She looks like a little high school boy from a boy band back in the 90s. I don't know if it's In Sync. I don't know what it is. Kid to Play. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know what the hell those boy bands are. I guess I'll ask Nick in a little bit. But the truth of the matter is she looks like an idiot, she talks like an idiot, and she makes decisions based on idiocy, jealousy. Jealousy, envy, ego, and pettiness. I don't kind of like it. I love it. But all of a sudden now, it's not because she didn't go to the Olympic camp. It's because of how she's playing. These women are full of shit. And thank God for Lynn Dunn going to the WNBA to straighten this out because it wasn't getting straightened out. Thank God she stopped the blatant racism, the sexism that was thrown at Caitlin Clark by these maniacs. You want to know why the WNBA has not been successful or nobody gave a rat's ass for 27 years? Go watch the interview between my boy Mike Tirico and Dawn Staley. Go watch that interview, and you'll see exactly why. Old school chicks looking like dudes, angry lesbians being interviewed on a set looking like a frickin' boy band from a bad band in the middle of Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, wherever. Well, Kristen Meyer is Caitlin Clark's high school coach, and she sent her a text to remind her that this wasn't the first time that she was left off the United States roster despite trying out. The way she's played, she would be in a really high consideration. This is Dawn Staley. Now, and think about the English on this. This is the head of the Women's Olympic Committee. Look at that face on her. That face right there is why nobody gave a rat's ass for 27 years about the WNBA. Angry lesbian face. The way that she's played, she would be in really high consideration. What? Of making the team because she is playing head and shoulders above a lot of people. Now, no shit, Sherlock. She did it from the day she came in. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? But Jeep, you, others, angry lesbians, jealous of a little white girl, straight white girl with a boyfriend. Angry lesbians could not put her on the team, and then they lied about it. And now I don't know why Dawn Staley didn't say this. I don't know why Dawn Staley just didn't simply say, hey, look, man, she's not on the team. I'll talk about the people on the team. Caitlin Clark's a great player. She's playing fantastic. Maybe the great motivator. Dawn Staley's trying to motivate whoever it is that she's talking about. Is it Jackie Young? Who knows? Because nobody knows who any of these frickin' players are. Except the most immature of all of them, Asia Wilson. Watch her act like a 10-year-old throughout her time here in France. Anyway, let me go to the high school coach. Despite Myers saying Clark performed well at those tryouts, she wasn't chosen for the under-17 team. She actually broke her pinky early in the tryouts, but I don't think that was necessarily the determined factor. There were just some players that I guess the committee thought played better. Myers said a locked-in attitude was seen in Clark in the gym. No, angry lesbians filter down to 17 and under. Angry lesbians running USA basketball is the same as me being bald. It's just the way it is right now. When diversity hits, either you kind of crumble and feel sorry for yourself or it causes you to dig a little deeper. Those things that really hurt you and disappoint you to the core have in the past helped take her to the next level in her game, in her attitude, in her preparation, and in her work ethic. Yeah, don't think for a second that Caitlin Clark got to be as good as she got to be by just showing up and playing basketball. I would guess, and I've seen some videos, but I would guess nobody works harder than Caitlin Clark. But it is just amazing. And this is the best thing that could possibly happen for the WNBA. I don't know if you've noticed, but all the little WNBA girls now are dressing half naked, showing off their bodies. There's a girl named Cunningham who plays for Phoenix. I saw her live. Okay, she's trying to be a model, I guess, wearing about nothing, putting her finger in her mouth. Good for her. I saw her live. She's a pretty woman. A lot of pretty women in the WNBA, and now because of Caitlin Clark, they're showing it. Smart. They could have dressed like frickin' a pinup girl from 1970s and nobody would have cared until Caitlin Clark came around. Now, all of a sudden, what? Everybody's trying to dress seductively. Everybody's trying to dress cute. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. And that, whether you like it or not, is going to help the WNBA. They can go back to being angry lesbians. I mean, the Indiana Fever has a couple of them that dress like dudes when they're walking out. You can have Brittany Griner out there talking about how she wants to be called Pops. Yeah, you can have a big old lesbian that has a baby wanting to be called Pops, and that ain't going to drive it. I don't care what Brittany Griner or any of these women do in their free time. I'm telling you about growing the league. It's fact. League went nowhere, was going nowhere. College basketball was going, but once you got in the NBA, it's where you went to die. And then along came Caitlin Clark. And all of a sudden, all the little girls are dressing up. All the little girls are wearing bikinis. All the little girls are showing their ass. All their little girls are showing their abs. It's no coincidence. But boy, did Klay Thompson's dad, Michael Thompson, say it best. Jealousy, J. Envy, E. Ego, E. Pettiness, P. Jeep. Man, that's the WNBA motto. It should be sponsored by Jeep. WNBA, sponsored by Jeep. Hey, Paris 2024 is a complete mockery. By the way, the guy that had his testicle out is not brave. He's a pervert. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I mean, he's not brave. Oh, look how brave. Now, guy has his testicle out because he's a pervert. That's it. I mean, no rational thinking human being would ever show up at something like that and stick their left nut out and go, wow, aren't I brave? You're not brave. You're an idiot. Look, the Paris believes the opening ceremony goal of showing community tolerance was achieved despite a furor. After drawing condemnation from American leaders, world leaders, Christian groups, and athletes alike over the depiction of one of the most revered events in Christianity the last summer. Now, they're saying it's the Feast of Dionysus. We all know that's crap. In fact, the fat girl that held up the chalice said in a since-deleted post, hey, look, we're mocking Christianity. I'm paraphrasing. I mean, don't try to throw this crap at us. If you're going to do it, own it. The ceremony segment appeared to resemble a depiction of the last summer, famously painted by Leonardo da Vinci. The performance ensemble included a drag queen, a transgender model, and a naked singer, who was styled to remember the Greek god Dionysus. I don't care what it was. I thought it was stupid. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. The opening ceremony tried to celebrate community tolerance. Camps, who is the head of the committee, told Reuters, "We believe this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, we are really sorry." No, they're not. See, you got to understand something. The French suck. I've told you the French suck. There's nothing good about the French. Nothing. Baguettes. I'll take baguettes. I'll take baguettes and croissants, and there are some pretty cool views of the Eiffel Tower. But I try to, don't tell me this is all about tolerance. No, this isn't. This is just about, this is what we want to do. The world has gone woke. We're going to stick it up Christianity's ass, and everybody knows it. I mean, we all know there's a war on Christianity, and we need to stop it. Look, here's the deal. My wife said it best. If anything out there is wholesome, it's no good. What is wholesome? Mom and dad, son and daughter, living together in a house, not sticking their testicle out. I don't know, a straight adult male and a straight adult woman. Now, am I saying that's the only way to live? Of course not. I'm not saying that's the only way to live. Live your life. I don't care. But wholesome doesn't sell anymore. Why? Well, because I don't know why, if you want to know the truth. I mean, 90% of all countries are wholesome people. Now, whether they are good, bad, happy, or sad, they're wholesome people. They're not looking for all this crap, but apparently that crap has to take it over. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where it's headed, but I do know this. There's nothing wrong with standing up for Christianity. You know, Harrison Butker stood up for Christianity, Serena Williams, and I don't know, some little mini-me. Not now, not ever. F you. Stand up for Christianity if you want to stand up for Christianity. You would never see these people do that to Islam because they'd be afraid of getting their heads cut off. In fact, a few years ago in France, I guess, I was reading, I think, because I read, I'm not sure, I was reading that some people did take on Islamic, what do you call them, reporters, mocked the Islamic faith, got their heads cut off in France. Again, I read it. Doesn't mean it's right. I'm just telling you what I read. Another French LGBTQABCDD leader suggested the ceremony didn't go far enough. We know in the LGBTPBB community in France, we are far from what the ceremony showed. There's much progress to be made in society regarding transgender people. It's terrible that to legally change their identity, they are forced to be on trial. Inner LGTB president. Really? Who puts them on trial? I mean, here you get everything you want. I mean, let me explain something to you. Pierogi Fest the other day. Every single float, every single fire truck, every single person coming down was throwing candy to kids. The only one that wasn't was Gays for Whiting. A small truck. Gays for Whiting with a bunch of gay women on it, which is cool. Only one not throwing candy to kids. Fella next to me looked at me and said, "Hey, Dan, notice they're not throwing candy to kids?" I go, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "They probably expect candy to be thrown to them because they're entitled." Don't give me this crap about LGTB ABCD is on trial. LGTB ABCD is entitled, is celebrated, and shut the living hell up then. If you saw the opening ceremony last night, you'd think it was like that normally, but it's not. France tried to show you what it should be and not what it is. So what? Good. Who cares? I've had enough. I just have. I mean, let's get something wholesome in there. I don't care, black, white, green, purple. I don't whatever. Why is everything got to be crazy? Why is everything got to be nuts? Why is everything got to be catered to the LGTB ABCD community? Great, have your community. Go over there. Now let's get to real people. Real people, not real people, but you know what I'm saying about the normal American person, a family man, husband, wife, son, daughter. I mean, look at your street. That's what it's filled with. Great, you're LGTB, great, but we don't have to have it thrown in our face every minute. Why can't we have anything wholesome? Why is that so bad? Here's Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. Here's what he had to say. Now, everybody's pandering. You got to understand. I'm not pandering. I'm just telling you what I do. Where are we at here? We got a screenshot. Last night's mockery last summer was shocking, insulting to Christian people around the world who watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. The war on our faith and traditional values knows no bounds today. But we know that truth and virtue will always prevail. The light shines in darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Yeah. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, I guess it's not as flamboyant, but who cares? Why can't something be catered to what 90% of the population is. I'm not saying, hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she chimes in. I know what well, look at all these white people. So what? French Olympic Committee has been hard at work taking down videos of their satanic trans occult opening ceremonies claiming copyright laws. It's our First Amendment right to share these videos and our outright outrage over the anti-Christian Olympic opening ceremonies. They did do that. They took them all down. I don't care if you're gay, lesbian, straight. I just don't need all this. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying why can't at some point? Why does everything have to be catered to a community that represents a very small portion of our society? Why can't it be catered to the majority? Oh, maybe it doesn't sell. Piers Morgan, he had something to say. By the way, what the F was that all about? A drag queen mockery of the Last Supper at the Olympics? Would they have mocked any other religion like this? Appalling decision. Of course they wouldn't. But there is a brawl on Christianity. It's right here in our country. I mean, it's no different here in our country. But look at the big fat thing in the middle, fat woman, fat whatever in the middle, who jokingly said she's mocking Christianity. She did not joke when she said that in a post, that she's mocking. So that's, screw her. Screw all of them. Yeah, if you say you're mocking Christianity, then I'll believe you. Jackasses. Roy Oswald had something to say. Going out on a limb here, but I'm guessing this will be the least watched Olympics in decades with that insulting opening. Hey, Nick, are you watching the Olympics? Does the opening have anything to do with you?
Not really. Regardless if it was like the greatest Olympic Open ever in modern history, I probably still wouldn't have watched it. But at the same time, it's just like, now this is just, I don't want to see somebody's balls on my screen. That's pretty much what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah, I don't either. Like, I watched last night. My daughter came down. She goes, hey, you want to watch gymnastics or should I go downstairs? I go, no, sit down. My daughter's here, getting ready to move to Chicago. I'm like, let's watch. I don't mind watching, but I don't need anybody's balls on my screen. I don't need depictions of the last summer. I don't need some, I don't know. I just don't need it mocked. And then they can say it's Dionysus, whatever they want to say. That's fine if you want to say that, but we all saw what we saw. But I'm with you. I don't need somebody's nuts all over my screen and then tell me he's brave for doing it. Nothing brave about it. You know this. Any dude can whip out his thing anytime. I mean, what? If that's brave, then fine.
Yeah.
Then I've been brave a lot on a golf course in the woods.
I worked on Saturday, and literally somebody whipped out his thing on the second floor of the bar, and he started peeing in the corner. When my friend Spiro went over to go slap him on the head, he tipped over and he fell in his own piss. So yeah, guys can do that whenever they want to.
That's
true
what
story.
I'm saying. That's unbelievable, by the way. But that's what I'm saying. That's not brave. It's not brave to get some biggin sitting there like that. That's not brave. What's brave about it? Yeah. Anyway, look, am I going to watch the Olympics? I mean, I'm working during the day. The encore, I love Tariq's. I love Mike. I did watch last night. I didn't watch the United States. I was at church celebrating Christianity. I don't know. The opening ceremony's fine. I liked it better when Muhammad Ali lit the torch instead of some guy with his nutsack out and then everybody telling me how brave he is or depicting the Last Supper in mockery of Christianity. Then no. It's Dionysus. Oh, okay. All right. Sure looked like the Last Supper. Maybe not, but it sure looked like it. And whatever that, shut up. And then she goes out and mock. Get out of here. Get out of here with that shit. Hey, what day is today? Well, wait, it's Monday? Another Georgia football player arrested. That's right. Rodarius Ray Thomas is being held without bail after the latest arrest. Listen to this. Family violence charges, specifically cruelty to children and battery. Man, I got to tell you. Now, I understand Kirby Smart has won a couple national championships, so everybody gives him a pat. I do. I get it. I understand it. I understand the way football works, basketball works, sports in general works. But there will come a time, I think, where these idiots with these kind of arrests will get Kirby Smart in a little bit of trouble with his bosses. Like, you already had 2 people die. You already had a drunk staffer driving in a staff car for some reason with a lineman drunk, drag racing, other linemen dead. Now, if that don't get you fired, I mean, a little girl, somehow a staffer, nobody really investigated what exactly she did on the staff and why exactly she was drunk in the middle of the night driving a staff car with a football player in tow, with other football players drag racing. Nobody really got into that, but I digress. Then, subsequent to this, more drag racing, more drag racing, more drag racing. Now we've got child cruelty. This week's arrest marks Thomas's second. This is a great human being in 18 months. University of Georgia police arrested the wide receiver in January of 23 on a felony of false imprisonment and a misdemeanor count of family violence battery. Georgia players have been involved in 24 driving-related violations, including DUI, reckless driving, speeding. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution has reported, including a crash that killed a player and a recruiting staffer in 2023. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I was a bit of a prude as a coach. I did not violate any rules, never thought of, would never have gone beyond. I learned that from Coach Knight, do things the right way. This infuriates me. Hey, look, I understand everybody's got to kiss the ass of 18 to 23-year-olds. I do. I understand it. That's the world we live in. We got to make them free agents every year. We got to give them as much money as they can have because, well, that's just everything's on the backs of them. But do we really have to kiss their ass to the point where they stay on a team after a felony charge of violence to a family and now a second one? Do we really have to do that? I mean, Nick Saban set the tone when his wide receiver slapped the girl for no reason and, no big deal. There was no media outrage because, it's Nick Saban. But it is amazing to me where we are at, lacking the discipline of players. In fact, I will tell you, in Athens, Georgia, I got to believe that Georgia football players are a menace to the society. See, here's the thing. You're only hearing about the arrests. You're not hearing about the day-to-day, the Friday night, the Thursday night, the Saturday night goings on. You're not hearing about the every time something happens, you're seeing a duck on top of the water, not the paddling underneath the water. And frankly, I guarantee you don't get arrested, remember this, first time you're speeding. You do it a lot, eventually you get arrested. Same thing with family violence. Same thing with all these other things that these idiots at the University of Georgia are participating in, but nobody cares. Let's be honest, and maybe nobody should. You know what? Maybe nobody should. Maybe we should all go about our daily lives and say, ain't my team. And even if it was my team, what do I care? I don't have to deal with them. Hey, let the president, let the chancellor, let the athletic director, let the coach, let the assistant coaches, let those guys deal with them. And you know what we're going to hear? These are really good kids. The great Joby Wright. Joby Wright was a great basketball player at Indiana. Then a fantastic assistant coach at Indiana, and then became a head coach and was really good at that too. Joby Wright said it famously back in the 90s. We've become a society where the guy driving the getaway car is a good kid. Maybe not yet to where the guy doing the robbing, but the guy driving the getaway car, he's a good guy. I think now we're going in and we have morphed into the guy doing the robbing. He's a good kid. No, he's not. No, he's robbing things. No, he's not. He's endangering children. No, he's not. He's crashing into things. No, he's not. He's endangering lives. But in the world we live in today, if you can pass, catch, throw, tackle, if you have 4-5 speed as a big fat lineman, oh, man. You can rape, rob, DUI, slap women, child endangerment, and some big fat guy who's your head coach making millions. Big fat white guy, actually, who's your head coach making millions, is going to look the other way and go, he's a good kid. We'll get him straightened out in our program. Man, I almost think like this. If you go to Georgia, I think they teach you to be a degenerate. I mean, I wonder how many of these kids, I actually kind of looked this up, and I didn't see very many, although this kid made me look it up who already had an arrest. I wonder how many kids there at Georgia had arrests before they went to Georgia. That's an interesting question. I don't know. What do I know? All I know is this. University of Georgia, it's Monday. By Friday, we'll probably be talking about another University of Georgia football player doing something incredibly stupid. It has been a thing, and it continues to be a thing, the Olympic basketball team, Jaylen Brown. Yeah, it was interesting yesterday. Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum did not get in the game, and Steve Kerr said he felt stupid about not getting Jason Tatum into the game, a route over Serbia. He didn't say anything about Halliburton, just said Jason Tatum. Anyway, the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, remember he was kept off the team. Grant Hill made fun of basically Jaylen Brown, saying, well, it's a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory, and Grant Hill was doing it facetious. Grant Hill was making fun of Brown. Grant Hill was saying Brown saying that he's not on the team because of Nike or whatever reason came down to a, quote, conspiracy theory. And he said it jokingly. Well, Brown did not like it. So Brown fired back. Let's hear from Brown.
Vegas.
Did you call Jaylen Brown to tell him or explain this to him?
I spoke to his agent. And, I spoke to his agent. We, I don't know if that was before or after, things went out on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, I think this idea that there's a conspiracy theory, I always love a good conspiracy theory, but, it was really, truly a basketball decision. And these are tough decisions, but having gone through this with the FIBA competition, you want to find the right balance and the right pieces on the court that we needed. And not to say that he wouldn't have been good. There's a lot of guys. You can go on a list of guys who are very capable and very, very, very qualified. But, for where we were, it was the right decision. And Derek White, I think, will help us as we pursue goal.
Here's what Jaylen Brown had to say. Jaylen Brown shot back, disappointed that Grant Hill calling me a conspiracy theorist is disappointing. I've been a VP, I think that's vice president since I was 21 years old. I have a great understanding. Yeah, he's right. Like, all these smug jackasses, and I like Grant Hill. I've met him numerous times. All these smug guys say, well, I love a good conspiracy theory. Really? Do you? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that Jaylen Brown said it was a conspiracy theory. Grant Hill's saying it's a conspiracy theory. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you're going to take anybody off the Boston Celtics after you already have Jason Tatum, you got to take Jaylen Brown, and there's a reason, and I tell you this all the time. There's always a backstory. I've told you this since the beginning of radio shows going back to 2008. There is always a backstory, and whatever Grant Hill wants to say, sitting back, being smug, being dookie, or whatever Jaylen Brown wants to say, there's always a backstory. Yeah, I'm going to equate it to politics. That's why I like what Trump has to say about things, because they always come true. They do. Like, I'm not saying he's a good dude, and I'm not saying he's a liar about his record, but I am saying the things that he says because he knows the backstory. And he gives you hints to the backstory. Everybody knows, if you've been in sports at any kind of level, any kind of popular level, that what you read is, and Gerald Ford famously said, if you think the sports page lies, oh, man, you should see the front page. That's how I've always looked at it. There's a backstory here. There's a backstory like Isaiah and Michael Jordan. Charles Barkley came on, I think, this show, and I know my other show, and said, look, we all laughed. Michael Jordan said, I never said I wouldn't play with Isaiah, and then a reporter had it on tape, played it. I won't play with the Dream Team if Isaiah's on it. It's just the way it is. Look, there's always – I don't know the backstory. I wish I did. It'd be fascinating to know. But there's something between Jaylen Brown, that Olympic committee, and guys on the team, period. And if you want to call it a conspiracy theory, call it. If you don't, don't. But I'm just telling you, that's the way it is. Karma is a mother. M-U-T-H-A. Sunday's Olympic judo competition. Nurali Imoradmal from Tajikistan refused to shake hands with his Israeli competitor, Baruch Shamalov, and shouted Allah Akbar instead. And shortly after, the guy shouting Allah Akbar is crying with a dislocated shoulder. Instant karma, baby. Allah Akbar. Next thing you know, look at him. Just look at him. That's right. That's right. And that's what should happen. What are you thinking about? What are you doing? Allah Akbar this. I like it. Hey, put that up there. I want to read that again. Do you mind? I want to read the tweet. In today's judo competition, the idiot refused to shake hands with his Israeli counterpart, shouted Allah Akbar. Shortly after, he was crying with a dislocated shoulder. There's a song, Instant Karma's going to get you. That's right. Instant Karma is going to get you. Dodgers are in Houston to play the Astros for the first time with a full stadium since 2017. Future Hall of Famer Clayton Kershaw doesn't hold back when discussing what the stadium means to him. I don't like coming here, Kershaw said. I don't like rolling up and seeing their 2017 ring in front of their stadium. Probably don't do a good job of dealing with things that affect me in general long term. So I think we're leaving some of this stuff. Some people will say it's healthy. It doesn't help. It doesn't make me feel good to talk about it. It's not like it's life-altering, like something terrible for your family. I don't want to put it in a category like that. As far as careers goes, jobs goes, this is a place I just don't like. Remember, 2017, they were cheating. They were cheating their ass off. Players were given immunity by the guy down there in the bottom, Rob Manfred, and they want to talk about cheating. But they were cheating. And if you're Clayton Kershaw, you got to say, man, oh, man, I got to come in here, see that ring knowing they were cheating. That would be hard. It's like I used to go in Purdue. Loved Gene Katie, but Purdue was cheating. Purdue went on probation. 3 Big Ten titles. We'd go there to play, knowing they beat us, knowing they were cheating. I'm not exactly sure what the hell they did, but I know their assistant, Frank Kendrick. Listen to this. He went from assistant coach to like assistant cook in the student union. No, that's what they did. They went on probation under Gene Katie. No one wants to talk about it. I certainly do, because we'd go walk in there, see those Big Ten titles, and know they went on probation for it. There's cheating. They were. What do you want me to tell you? Hey, Nick, let me ask you a question. This weekend, when the guy fell into his own PP, what's the next move there? I've been thinking about this. What's the next move?
You take a broomstick, you poke him in the back, you get him up, and then when he's out of his own piss, you take him by the collar and you drag him out. The bar's got a second floor.
Is that what you guys did?
Well, that's what the security did, yeah. Thankfully, it was like during a time where we weren't letting a lot of people in. So the bouncers just kind of like walked around just to kind of monitor the situation around the bar. Just happened to see him whip it out and just piss in the corner. Crazy, right?
Man. Good friend of mine, I will not say his name, in a crowded bar back in the 80s when we were in Chicago on Russian Division. Packed bar. I looked over. He's standing at the bar. I'm about 3 people down. I look at him. He's got his pants around his ankles standing at the bar. I go, hey, yo, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I want to see if anybody notices. I go, oh, well, I noticed. He goes, yeah, I know.
Was his bare ass was out?
Everything. Around his ankles.
God.
Packed bar.
He's
pressed up, he's pressed up against the bar. And I was down there a little bit, right? Like, everybody's, how you get in a crowded, kind of a narrow bar, and so nobody's really looking down, right? Everybody's kind of looking at the bartender to get a drink or something like that, right? I said, yo, you got your pants down. I know. I said, why? Want to see if anybody knows. It was loud, too. I'm yelling, right? I want to see if anybody notices. So, all right. The guy, all right. Well, hey, by the way, the Yankees bounced back last night. Cubs, hey, wait a second. I want you to tell the Cubs fans out there, they got a good third baseman in this deal, right?
They did. So I like Isaac Paredes a lot. I honestly thought the bigger move would have been Randy Arozarena going to the Seattle Mariners. But if you look at all the stats, Isaac Paredes is 1,000 times better this year. And he's under club control through like 2027. He's a pretty good power hitter. He hits for RBIs. He hits for contact. Cubs fans are going to be great. Cubs fans are going to be fine with this. I don't know if that's going to be enough to power them to the wild card because the Padres, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, the Mets are all chasing the wild card. I don't know if that's going to get them through over the hump. If they make another move, like they go for like a Garrett Crochet, they go for Tarek Skubal, I think that's going to help them. But I don't know if the Cubs are even going to do that.
Yeah, I don't know either. They're too banged up. They're too banged up with the bullpen, and Starter's pretty good, or at least supposed to be pretty good. But no. I
want to see Cody Bellinger too.
What's that?
I was just saying I want to see Cody Bellinger do well too. I love that guy as a player.
Yeah, he was good for 1 year, and now where is he? Where is he, Nick? Where is he?
Contract year, man. That's what happens. You play well during your contract year, you get your bag, and then the next year you just kind of fall off. It takes a special player to really still be able to perform well after a contract year.
It is amazing. The contract year gets in every sport. Every sport, man, the contract year. Like baseball would be the hardest because the guy's still throwing 100 and dropping all kind of stuff on you. But contract year, basketball, everything. It just seems, all right, are we good with the Jordan Love deal and the Tua deals?
I'm kind of 50-50 on the Jordan Love deal. He only had one good year where they made it to the playoffs. And granted, he has had a lot of time behind Aaron Rodgers, so I understand that. But to give him what did he get? 200 plus right off the rip after a first year in the playoffs? Yeah. I don't know. I would have given him maybe another year to sort of see if he can build on top of that. That's not a one-hit wonder. But the Tua deal, I like it. I think he'll do it. I think he'll live up to it. I don't know about the Jordan Love deal.
See, I go the other way. I think Tua is a fraud. I don't like him. And I think Jordan Love's the real deal. I do. I think you got to have a tough-ass dude to play down there. I think you got to have a tough guy up there in Green Bay. You got to have somebody that can play in the freaking snow, in the freaking cold, in December. And I kind of think Jordan Love's that guy. I never would have thought Tua would be that guy. But you know what somebody told me? The hardest game to play is not in the cold in Green Bay. It's in the heat in September in Miami against the Dolphins because they put the visiting team right in the sun.